We are here for two basic reasons. Number one, together we will defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. The American people will not re-elect someone who is a pathological liar. They will not re-elect somebody who is running a corrupt administration. They will not re-elect somebody who apparently has never read the Constitution of the United States and who is trying to undermine American democracy. And today we say in the cradle, right here in Boston, of American democracy, that we will not allow this country to move toward an autocracy. Nobody, not even the President of the United States, is above the law. We're going to defeat Donald Trump because he is a racist, he is a sexist, he is a homophobe, he is a xenophobe, he is a religious bigot. And those are his better qualities. We're going to defeat Donald Trump because in the midst of a crisis like climate change and in the midst of a crisis like the coronavirus, we need a president who believes in science. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because not only is he a pathological liar, he is a fraud. He told the American people in 2016 that he would provide health care to everybody. You remember that? He lied. He actually tried to take away health care from 32 million people. Trump said his tax plan would not benefit the rich. You remember all that? He lied. Over a 10-year period, 83% of the benefits go to the top 1%, the people who need it the least. Trump said that he was a different type of Republican. He would not cut Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. He lied. If you take a look at his budgets, that is exactly what he tried to do. Massive cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Now, we're going to defeat Donald Trump for a couple of reasons. Number one, we are putting together the strongest grassroots movement in the modern history of America. This is not just a campaign, we are a movement. We are a multi-generational, multi-racial grassroots movement, black and white, Latino, Native American, Asian American. Trump wants to divide us up, but we are coming together around an agenda that works for all of us, not just the 1%. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because our unprecedented grassroots movement is not dependent on billionaires or super PACs for our funding. We don't have a super PAC. We don't want a super PAC. We don't need a super PAC. We don't go to billionaires' homes begging for money. In fact, we have raised more contributions from more Americans at this point in a campaign than any campaign in the history of America. So let me say it proudly and loudly. This campaign is a campaign of the working class, by the working class, and for the working class. The people of this country, from Boston to California, are sick and tired of a government that represents the wealthy and the powerful. We are going to create an economy and a government that represents all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. And by the way, when we talk about why we are going to win this election, it's because not only the American people are sick and tired of a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality, where 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. We are tired of tax breaks for billionaires when 500,000 people sleep out on the streets of America. We're tired of the rich getting much richer while half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. And we're going to win this election because the American people are tired of a corrupt political system. We're tired of people like Mayor Bloomberg or anybody else. We are a democracy, not an oligarchy. We don't want billionaires buying elections. And that is why we're going to overturn this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United. It's why we're going to move to public funding of elections. And it's why we are going to put an end to voter suppression in this country. Now, as some of you may know, the establishment is getting very nervous about our campaign. And tonight they're going to turn on the TV and they're going to find that 10,000 people came out to the Boston Commons. And they're going to become even more nervous. I just read the other day that the military-industrial complex is getting nervous. They're afraid we're going to end endless wars. Wall Street is getting nervous because we're going to break up the giant banks. The drug companies are getting nervous because we're going to lower prescription drug costs in America. The insurance companies are getting nervous because we're going to pass Medicare for all. Now, we're going to win this election despite a lot of the pundits and the establishment saying Bernie can't beat Trump. Okay? Going to be a lot of hurdles thrown in our way, and that's the new one. So let me suggest to all of those pundits about how Bernie can't beat Trump, check out the last 70 national polls in America. And we win 65 of them. Check out the polls in the battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. We beat Trump. The truth is that the only way we beat Trump is when we put together the largest voter turnout in the history of this country. And we are the campaign that can do that. We are the campaign that can speak to disillusioned workers who have given up on the political process. We are the campaign that can bring millions of young people into the political process. And we are the campaign that has an agenda that speaks to the working families of this country, families that have too often and for too long been ignored. We're the campaign that says in America, if you work 40 hours a week, you should not live in poverty. We're going to raise the national minimum wage to $15 an hour. We're going to bring about equal pay for equal work. And we are going to make it easier for workers to join unions. We are the campaign that says we have got to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, roads, bridges, water systems, wastewater plants, and create millions of jobs as we do that. We are the campaign that says that in America, 500,000 people should not be homeless, and 18 million families should not have to pay 50% of their incomes for housing. That's insane. And that is why we are going to build up to 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. And it's why we are going to tell landlords, stop the gentrification. Stop ripping off your tenants. And we are the campaign that says that all of our young people have a right to the highest quality education, high quality, universal, affordable child care for all, tripling funding for low-income Title I schools. And because we believe in education, we believe in our teachers. And I hope very much that many of the young people here will give serious thought to going into teaching as a profession. We need more African American teachers. We need more Latino teachers. We need more special ed teachers. And because we want the best and the brightest to go into education, we're going to do everything possible to raise the minimum salary for teachers in this country to $60,000 a year. And our campaign has stood forthrightly, not only now, but for decades, in making the common sense proposition that health care is a human right, not a privilege. Today, we have a cruel and dysfunctional health care system, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. We are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all of our people. If our neighbors to the north in Canada, if France and Germany and the UK, if Finland and Denmark and Sweden and Norway, if countries all over the world can somehow figure out a way to provide health care to all as a human right, don't tell me the United States of America can't do the same. This dysfunctional healthcare system is costing us twice as much per person for health care as do the people of any other country pay. Twice as much, $11,000 for every man, woman, and child. And yet, despite that huge expenditure, 87 million of us are uninsured or underinsured, and 30,000 die each year in America because they don't get to a doctor on time. And we have a pharmaceutical industry which is not only greedy, it is corrupt. It is involved in collusion and price fixing, ripping us off, charging us by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. And if you want to hear about cruelty, understand that last year, 500,000 Americans went bankrupt because of medical debt. Think about it. Somebody is struggling with cancer or heart disease or Alzheimer's. They got enough to worry about. They're fighting for their lives. And yet under this cruel system, 500,000 of them went bankrupt because of outrageous medical bills. And that is why, whether the drug companies like it or not, whether the insurance companies like it or not, we are going to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. And that means no more premiums, no more co-payments, no more deductibles, no more out-of-pocket expenses. Nobody pays more than $200 a year for prescription drugs. Healthcare is a human right, not a privilege. And we will fight to make sure that every American goes to any doctor they want when they need to go to that doctor, regardless of their income. And unlike the President of the United States, we understand that climate change is not a hoax, but an existential threat to our country and the planet. And unlike Donald Trump, our administration will believe in science and scientists. And what the scientists are telling us is that if we are going to save this planet for our kids and future generations, we have got to summon up the courage to take on the greed of the fossil fuel industry and to tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And I am very proud to tell you that our campaign has introduced the most sweeping climate change proposal ever introduced by a candidate for federal office. It is a proposal based on the principles of the Green New Deal. It is a proposal that says we can create up to 20 million good-paying union jobs as we transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. It is a proposal that says we understand that climate change is not just an American issue, it is a global issue. And as president, I will reach out to the people in China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Brazil, Africa, people all over the world, and make it clear that maybe, just maybe, instead of spending $1.8 trillion a year on weapons of destruction designed to kill each other, maybe we should pool our resources, fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And when we talk about addressing the crises facing our country, the time is long overdue to address a broken and racist criminal justice system. As Americans, we are sick and tired of having more people in jail, disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American, than any other country on earth. China, 4 times our size, fewer people in jail than we do. That is a disgrace that we're going to end, and we're going to end it for a start by investing in our young people in jobs and education. Not more jails and incarceration. We're going to make the changes we need by ending cash bail in America, because we got 400,000 people in jail today who haven't been convicted of anything. They're in jail because they're poor, can't afford to pay bail. We are going to end private prisons and detention centers. Corporations should not be profiting by imprisoning fellow Americans. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We're going to end the destructive war on drugs. Turns out there are a number of interesting things the president can do with an executive order. And one of them is to legalize marijuana in every state in the country. And what we are also going to do is move to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana. And when we talk about broken systems, time is long overdue for a major overhaul of a broken immigration system. On day one, we restored the legal status for the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. On day one, we end a border policy which allows federal agents to snatch babies from the arms of their mothers. And under our administration, we will move forward to pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. All of us, no matter what our political views may be, are horrified by the amount of gun violence we see in this country. So let me simply say to you that our strong gun safety proposals will be dictated by the American people, not the NRA. Now, Trump and his friends are intimidated by the NRA. The Republican leadership is intimidated by the NRA. We are not intimidated by the NRA. We will pass what the American people want, which among many other things is universal background checks. People who have a history of violence, including domestic violence, should not be owning guns. We're going to end the gun show loophole. And we're going to do something that I have believed in for over 30 years, and that is end the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. You know, as a United States Senator, I listened to a whole lot of speeches on the floor. Not the most pleasant thing in the world, I will tell you. And I hear very often from my conservative Republican colleagues who tell us that they believe in small government. They believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people. Well, I say to those hypocrites, If you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who have a right to control their own bodies, not the government. So my promise to you is I will never nominate anybody to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% Roe v. Wade. We will move to put into law, codify Roe v. Wade. Trump and his friends, they want to cut funding for Planned Parenthood. We're going to greatly expand funding for Planned Parenthood. So here we are, a few days before the Massachusetts primary, in the most consequential election in the modern history of America. And we are assembled to tell Donald Trump he is not going to destroy democracy in America, that we're tired of tax breaks to billionaires, that the American worker wants decent wages, that the American people want decent housing, that the American people want the best educational system in the world, that the American people are determined to lead the world in fighting climate change, that the American people are sick and tired of racism and sexism and homophobia and xenophobia and religious bigotry, that we're going to fight to create a non-discriminatory society. Whereas Dr. King reminded us, we judge human beings based on who they are, not the color of their skin. But our campaign is not just about beating Trump. Our campaign and the message of our campaign is us, not me. And that is two things. Number one, it understands that we are all in this together. That every family in America has its share of problems. That your family has to care about my family has to care about your family. That's what America is. But we also understand that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. We understand that in America, the history of real change has always been from the bottom on up, not the top down. That is the history of the labor movement. That's the history of the civil rights movement. That's the history of the women's movement. That's the history of the gay rights movement. That's the history of the environmental movement. That is the history of all movements that have brought about substantive and real change. Now, I'm a U.S. Senator from your neighbor up north. And you know, and I know, that the establishment has enormous wealth and power. You know that. We're talking about Wall Street. We're talking about the insurance industry, the drug companies, fossil fuel industry, military industrial complex, prison industrial complex. In fact, we're talking about much of a whole 1%. So taking these guys on is not easy, and that's why you're seeing so many attacks, so many negative ads, why you're seeing super PACs fighting us day and night. Because they know this is not an election, it's a movement. It's not just about beating Trump, it's about transforming this country. So this is what I believe. I believe that if we stand together and not allow Trump to divide us up based on the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation or our religion or our gender, if we stand together, we can take on the 1%, and I'll tell you why. Now, I know I am in a city of great learning with great universities. And I got to tell you, I don't have a PhD in mathematics. But this I do know, that 99% is a hell of a bigger number than 1%. So if we stand together, if we become involved in the political process, if we change the political culture of America, if we understand that men and women have fought and died for democracy, that we all have got to be involved thinking about the issues facing this country. If we do that, if we bring out our friends and neighbors and family members on Tuesday, if we have the largest voter turnout in the history of the Massachusetts primary, we can win here in Massachusetts. We can win the Democratic nomination. We can defeat Donald Trump. And we can transform this country. Thank you all very much.